Hello, happy December. Welcome to Knitting Between the Lines, a knitting and reading podcast and all things cozy. My name is Mia and I'm coming to you live from the mountains of Western North Carolina, where it has been unseasonably warm for November and December. I think we're gonna have a repeat of last year where it was like 65 degrees on Christmas Day or something ridiculous like that. It is warm. I'm actually hot. I'm wearing my Eloise at Christmas time sweatshirt and I'm wearing sweatpants, and I had to take off my slippers because I took my hair down for this video and I'm hot. I had to pin it back actually because I'm like, I'm gonna start sweating in the middle of filming this. I'm sorry for coming to you a week later than I have my last two episodes. With the holidays and Thanksgiving falling so close to the end of November, I lost track of time and I was finishing up final projects for school, and I was finishing up a really busy season at work, so I just completely lost track of time, and I realized it like the day before it was supposed to go up, and I was like, I was tired, I'm just gonna push it. So we pushed, I'm filming. I'm glad I decided to push because I have more things I can show you now, and I'm very excited. This is my favorite time of year. I have my little Christmas tree set up in my office. I have all the Christmas decorations up in the house, and I am so excited. So first of all, I am drinking out of my little Santa mug from Target, and I'm drinking coffee still. It's almost 2:30 in the afternoon. I slept a good 11 or 12 hours last night. I was very tired. That's the most sleep I've gotten in a while, and had a slow morning, and I'm just now filming. Colton and I are going to see the Nutcracker tonight. So it's like I'm filming, then we have to start dinner kind of early and get ready and leave and all that stuff. So I'm gonna try not to make this rushed. Shouldn't be, we should be good. But I'm drinking out of my Santa mug. I'm drinking the holiday or the Christmas blend from Starbucks, which I really like. It's a nice dark coffee. And I have the Khalifa Farms peppermint mocha. Is it almond or oat? I forget what Khalifa Farms is. I think it's almond creamer in here, and it's very good. Very delicious. It's probably my last cup of coffee for the day. It really should be at least. So yeah, projects. I don't have a lot in terms of projects. Last month I had, if you watched last month's video, it was so many finished objects galore. So many. Not like that this time around, but I do have a great haul for y'all from Sorella. I always say her name wrong. Sorella, or is it Sue? I always want to say Surella, but it's Sorella yarn. I have a huge yarn haul, like sweater quantity from her. I have a couple finished objects and some whips. So we're just gonna jump right into it because I have babbled for 3 minutes now. My first current project, my first whip, is the Nostalgia Tee, which I showed in last month's video. I just started it. It's by Bloom and Create. And I am on the first sleeve. So it's kind of like tangled because I have all the stranded color work going on and a bunch of yarn hanging around. And I'm actually about at the point where I probably need to change my needles. But this is what it's looking like this far. I am doing the 3/4 length sleeves. She has a short sleeve option. I decided to go for the 3/4 lengths. So this is what it's looking like. I have the body entirely done. The bottom is kind of curling up on me. But yeah, we're working on the sleeves at this point, and I'm very excited. Very excited. The sleeves are going by pretty quickly because it's just less stitches than the body overall, but it's gorgeous. I'm gonna keep showing it because it's just so pretty. I'm very pleased with it. Last month I talked about how I was on edge about it because when I bought the yarn I thought it was more of a red than a pink, and I got home and it was pink. Just the lighting was off where I bought it. But the yarn is Seaside Fiber Arts. Main color is in Sequoia, and contrast color 1, which is this like light brown kind of color, is in Henna, and then this kind of creamer is Guyana. So those are the colors that I'm working with. It's very pretty. I did try the body on. I think I'm making sweaters a little too large than I need to be for my body, because it was definitely not as fitted as I was expecting it. I'm hoping We don't have the issue that we had with my pink velvet, which we shouldn't because this is super wash wool, so it shouldn't bloom crazy amount when I block it. But yeah, it's definitely like, it's not baggy, but it's not super fitted, which I'm not too upset about because I don't like super fitted clothes on me. But I probably could have gone down. I'm making a size 5. I probably could have done a size 4 if I really wanted to, but you live and you learn. I'm probably not going to take the whole thing out. I am way too impatient to do that. But that is my big whip right now. I've made a lot of progress on it. I started the sleeve a couple days ago. So I have another whip that I'm working on. I talked about last month about Christmas socks, 3-pair holiday socks. That kind of is not happening. I really wanted to, but just so much time passed before I could decide on a pattern. I couldn't find a pattern that I really loved, and I didn't really I have a bunch of scrap yarn I could have used for a color work pattern. Sorry, there's something outside. I hope it's outside. That looks like steam. Please hold. I'm gonna just double check because there's something, it looks, I want to make sure nothing's smoking. Okay, I think we're good. I think it's like what are they, like the air exhaust for the house, and we have the dryer going right now, so that's probably what it is. I just wanted to make sure. I don't see any smoke, I don't see any flames. We're gonna continue with the video. But Christmas socks ended up being a no-go. I ran out of time, and I already had sock yarn that I bought that I showed off last month from Forbidden Fiber Company, Forbidden Fiber Co. And it was their SAF colorway. I got it at Southeastern Animal Fiber Fest, SAF. And it's dark, it's moody, it has some Christmassy tones to it. So I decided to just make a pair of socks with it using my little Christmas tree project bag. That was my main motivator. I was like, if I don't do some kind of Christmassy sock, I'm not gonna be able to use my project bag. And this was gifted to me last year in the Winter Wishes sock swap. So it's very cute. I do not know where it's from. The inside's cute too. And I love it. It's very wrinkly because it's been in the bottom of a bag since last year. So I didn't iron it out or anything before using it. And it came with little like Christmas kind of stitch markers, things like that. So I am working on a pair of Hermione's Everyday Socks. It's a very popular sock pattern off of Ravelry by Lueder. It's free. Almost every sock knitter I know has made a pair. I have yet to, so I decided we're gonna do it with this yarn. It's a very simple forward repeat of just like alternating purl stitches and net stitches, so it's not straight stockinette. It doesn't really, the pattern itself doesn't show up well with this yarn because this is already a very busy yarn and it's a darker yarn. Here's like the overall cake. It's sparkly though, so it gives holiday vibes because it's sparkly. So the pattern doesn't show up that well. I'm not too upset about it because I really just wanted something to work on that was smaller, i.e. socks, that was kind of festive and that wasn't just straight stockinette. So I'm pleased with it. So this is what it is looking like. You can maybe kind of tell it's not straight stockinette right here, and definitely when you touch it, you can tell it's more textured. But yeah, the pattern itself doesn't show up. If you look up the pattern on Ravelry, you'll see that it's a lot more obvious with lighter colored, less busier yarns. But this is what it's looking like. Have the cuff done and about 4, I think, pattern repeats done. So what, 16 rows on the actual leg. And that is just my current sock project for when I get bored or don't want to pull out my sweater, because knitting sleeves on sweaters, I don't mind them, but the most annoying part for me is just having to rotate the sweater with the sleeves, and it can just be a lot on your lap, and it's not super portable when you get to that point. And so I wanted something smaller that I could work on, and hence my pseudo holiday socks. And that colorway again was Quintessential, which was the SAF colorway. So I'm not sure if Forbidden Fiber Co has it available online. If they do, I'll see if I can find it and I'll link it below. And I do link everything below. I don't know if I've mentioned that in previous videos, but I do try to link everything below. Next, we have finished objects. I have 2 finished objects since last month because I have a huge sweater project going, and to be honest with you, I didn't get burnt out on knitting, but as my classes started wrapping up, I wasn't knitting as much, and I was working a lot on final projects, so a lot of knitting was pushed aside. And then when it came time, like where my projects were getting turned in, I have been doing a lot more knitting. I've been catching up and watching shows and movies that have come out in the last couple months that I wasn't able to watch. I watched Wednesday. It's a good show. I've watched a few other things. Oh, The Crown. I watched the new season of The Crown. But I just haven't been knitting as much. I got a little bit more back into playing my Switch. I do have a Nintendo Switch. I actually bought a new one on Black Friday for myself. So I had put my Switch down for months during the semester, and I've picked that back up, and I'm back playing some games. So it's just kind of like alternating between that and knitting and reading, of course. So it's the knitting hasn't been like constant 8 hours a day on the weekends, or like 3 to 4 hours in the evenings. I've been trying to like switch off what I'm doing. So not a whole lot of finished projects. I do have 2, and they are the stockings that I showed off the yarn for last month. So I had to pull them down from the mantle, but I did make Colton and I stockings for our first Christmas together, in our own home. And to clarify, we've been together for a few years. And this is the, where is it? Oh, this is the Knit Collage Holiday Stockings pattern off of their website, and it's knit in Spun Cloud, which is also Knit Collage yarn. This is Breezy Blue, and this is Lavender Dust. It looks more pink though, which I'm fine with because I originally wanted their blush yarn color and they were sold out. So I'm fine that this is a little more pink. And they are gorgeous. They are chunky. I really love how Spun Cloud knits up because it's chunky. It's quirky, I guess would be a good word. It's quirky, and it's very cozy. These were so amazing to knit. I didn't want to stop knitting them. Like, I loved these. Actually, I don't know if when you knit and you watch like a show or something, or you listen to music or a podcast, and then you have like really direct correlation in your memory of knitting a project with watching something. For me, this was the new Enola Holmes movie with Millie Bobby Brown. I don't know if any of you have watched the Enola Holmes movies on Netflix. They're very good. I like them a lot. And I worked on, I think, Colton's when I watched the new Enola Holmes. And these were such quick knits. Like, I, finished like half of this in the span of the movie. I finished both of these in less than a week, or maybe about a week. So they're great. I love them. They're also a little sparkly. So they're gorgeous. And the only thing I did different was the pattern doesn't really call for a way to do any kind of hanging loops on them. I think in the picture it just uses the tail yarn, kind of like maybe whip stitched, and you use that to hang. But I didn't want to trust that. Spun Cloud is a very like, what's the term? It's not like I don't know, like consistent in terms of how it was spun. So you can have like really thin parts and then really thick parts. And that's one of the reasons it's so fun to knit with. But I definitely didn't trust doing that. And so I ended up just crocheting. I think I just slip stitch crocheted around the top and then like chained 4 and slipped that and knotted it. And that's how I did the hanging bits. And they've hung just fine. They don't have anything in them yet, and they're not gonna have anything crazy heavy in them, so it shouldn't be a big deal, but that's how they were done. And this was a very simple project. Could very easily be beginner. The heel was very easy. I think the heel was done, I think no, it was an afterthought heel. That's what it was. And it was my first time doing an afterthought heel. So heel was very easy. It was all very simple. Sorry, my nose is a bit runny. But yeah, so that's my 2 finished objects, same pattern. And they have just been a joy to look at every evening. Okay, so plans for future knitting. Right now, it's just the Kelly crew neck is next up, which is the 2 of Wands crocheted crew neck that was done in collaboration with Sorella. I'm gonna pause like every time before I say a name. Sorella yarn. With her Autumn in New York collection, because I ordered sweater quantity to crochet the Kelly crew neck, and that is my next up. Probably start that in the new year, though. Andrea Mowry's new cardigan pattern has been tempting me like nothing else. It looks so cozy. I forget the name of it, but it looks so cozy and amazing, and I want one. And I think a knit along is starting on January 1st for it. And a bunch, I think even my little yarn shop is doing, maybe not, but I've seen a bunch of people on Instagram doing like, here's buy a kit for the knit along for this cardigan, and it's very, very tempting. But Kelly crew neck is definitely next in the queue because I have a bunch of stuff for it. So first of all, this is my Sorella yarn haul, and I got one of the new boxes that she came out with her new packaging in the last year, and they are stunning. I don't want to trash this, well, recycle it, but I don't want to trash it because it's so pretty. But show you everything I got. I did get sweater quantity of the yarn, and I got a couple of other things as well. This isn't gonna work because this box is gonna get in my face, so let's just pick out a couple of things because I have like bags on bags of yarn in here. So I did get the Autumn in New York colorway. I haven't even opened these yet. They're like a tab. Yes, okay. So I did get the Autumn in New York colorway, and it is so pretty. It's like reds and browns, a little bit of like gold even. It's just absolutely stunning. And for the sweater, this is the classic sport weight, and it's just very pretty. I don't know if this is coming back because this was a pre-order, and I ordered it back in like August or September, and I received it probably 3 weeks ago now. But I know she does her like best of beginning, like I think it's January 1st, where she like brings back pre-order a bunch of really popular yarns from colorways from previous years. I have a feeling this one's gonna come back. She did just announce that it will be happening on January 1st, but she didn't announce all the colorways involved. So I have no clue, but she said on Instagram quite literally today that it was like something like close to 100 colorways were coming back for pre-order. So this is it, and I'm very excited to crochet up a sweater with it. I've never crocheted a sweater, and I think it's a stitch that I'm not familiar with. I looked at the pattern to see like what like the skill level was going to be, and I'd say I'm advanced to intermediate with crochet, but there are just some stitches I haven't done, and it's one of them. So we're going to be learning a lot. Since I was crocheting a sweater with Sorella, I wanted to get one of her crochet hooks. So she came out with crochet hooks in sets a while back. The crochet hooks are sold individually though, as well as recently interchangeable needle sets with knitting. And this hook, I have yet to use it. There's it says Sorella yarn. It's in that beautiful light pink and a rose gold hook, and then it's a size G for the pattern. It is so nice to hold. It's soft to the touch, and it's just the way it fits in your hand compared to a normal crochet hook. I have a small one in here from when I dropped a stitch on my sweater, but like a lot of them are kind of made like this, and they have this little flat part here where you often put your thumb, and these are just entirely flat. So they're so nice to hold, and they're so soft to the touch, and now I want her entire interchangeable set. Do I need it? Not necessarily, but I want it. Just because this is, I have a feeling this is going to be very luxurious to crochet with. So I did get that, as well as some of her tea. For the first time, I got some things from her market. So I got some tea, and as you can see, I've used quite a bit of it. This is her pearl tea, which I think is just what it's all called, and this is in the flavor Fall Festival, which is black tea, cinnamon, cloves, caramel, pumpkin sprinkles, and other flavors. And this is a very good tea. It's delicious. I really love it. So I should have really been drinking it for this video, but I had coffee to finish. But yeah, this is the tea. It's great. Really sold on her tea now, and I had points, so I was able to get a free hand lotion. So I got a free hand lotion. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it in any of her fall scents for her Autumn in New York colorway, because if you're familiar or not with Sorella yarn, when she releases collections, she often releases like creams and teas and stuff that goes with the collection. And they had one for the Autumn in New York collection for the hand cream, and I wasn't able to get that with my free points, which was sad. So I just got the warm cashmere scent. It smells really nice. It kind of reminds me of my grandma in a good way. It's a very classic scent. It definitely smells like something a grandma would use, but it's not too grandma-y. So it's really nice, and I heard a lot of good things about this hand cream, and I'd always been on the fence about it. And so when I had the points, I went ahead and got it. And let me just say, this hand cream is phenomenal. It's made really for knitters, so it's like nice and thick, and but it soaks into your hands so quick. So it's essentially made so you can put it on and get to knitting or crocheting right away. So you don't have like really greasy hands. It is very nice. It's very hydrating. It soaks in so quick. I will definitely be buying more. If I'd received my package like sooner, because I received it mid-November and was worried about placing orders for Christmas through her. I was just afraid it'd be too late. I probably would have ordered a couple of those for Christmas for people. So they're very nice. We'll definitely be ordering more. Yeah, so that was my full Sorella. I have more yarn obviously in the box, but it's all in the same colorway, Autumn in New York. Yeah, so it's gonna be the Kelly crew neck next, and hopefully I'm starting that in January, so we shall see. So reading updates. I finally finished Dracula. I think I've been working on that since I began this podcast. And when was it? September? So yes, I finally finished Dracula, and I was going to pull up highlights because I read it on Kindle, and I was going to pull up highlights to read just for fun, and my Kindle is dead, and so that's not happening. But I did finish Dracula. I didn't post my review on Instagram, which is what I normally do, because just the last few weeks have flown by. Overall, I liked it. I was glad to have read it. It was like my classic that I read for the year. It was moody. It was great. I enjoyed it. The writing was actually pretty decent writing. The way the point of views are done. I don't want to do too many spoilers, but it's also an old book. So how much can you truly spoil with Dracula? Yet at the same time, I was entirely unfamiliar with the storyline. I was never required to read it, so I never read it, and I never watched any classic film adaptation of the book, so I was entirely unfamiliar with the storyline. Yet the ending was not surprising. It wasn't. Just in terms of like classic kind of romantic period literature, not surprising. I did find a lot of the highlighted parts that I found like funny that I highlighted and was going to share with you just were funny examples of a man, Bram Stoker, in the 19th century writing from the point of view of women. It could get very sexist and very cringy, like just writing from the point of view of the female characters and saying things like, oh, I'm so glad that I have these men in my life that can protect me and save me, for I am so weak and they are so strong, and etc., etc. Meanwhile, the like main character men are like bumbling around, not figuring anything out. And they're like in no way like macho men, like they're professors and doctors. So anyway, I highlighted those parts to share because they were very funny. So there were a couple eye roll moments with like especially the women and how Bram Stoker wrote them and wrote their voices, but what can you expect? The book is probably like, I don't know, I can't remember the publication date, but easily 150 years old, written by a man who, if you look into the themes of it, if you look into Bram Stoker's life, he was very much repressing his own sexuality, so there's a lot of projection of like gender roles and things like that in the book. But overall, it was very good. I did enjoy it. There were definitely some dry parts, over descriptive parts. You're gonna get that with literature from that time period. But it was good, and it was a lot longer than I expected it to be, because as I previously mentioned, I expected to read it the month of October and be done with it, and it took me almost 2 months to finish, but it was very good. I'm currently reading The Radium Girls, and I have it in a good, it's not a hardback, but it's a good like physical copy of a book. So I'm reading The Radium Girls, The Dark Story of America's Shining Women by Kate Moore. And this was actually loaned to me by my dad's girlfriend back in July or August. But at that point I had like such a long to be read list that this got the back burner. So I'm currently reading it. I am pretty far in. As you can see, my bookmark, I'm actually going to show off to you because my dad's girlfriend went to the UK in November, and she brought me back this really pretty, I'm trying not to lose my spot in the book, bookmark, and it's gorgeous. It's so pretty. So I'm using that to mark my place. It's very elegant. A little too elegant, maybe. I'm like so scared I'm gonna break it when I read. But yes, this is a very good book. It's about the kind of, I don't want to call it a scandal, but it kind of, the radium dial scandal from the 1920s, 1930s, where a bunch of women were employed by the radium companies, that's the names I'm forgetting, and ended up like dying from radium poisoning, like massively, and suffering and incurring all this medical debt, and essentially the government, the company, etc., not protecting them, and the legal actions they had to take to get some kind of compensation or recognition. And I believe, if I'm correct, this kind of case and the whole series of events kind of led to more workplace protections and work environments. I'm not done with the book yet, though. I have heard the story. I'm pretty sure My Favorite Murder podcast covered it years ago, and I'm sure I've heard it in other various forms because I'm very interested in things like this, and so I'll watch YouTube videos on it and I'll listen to podcast episodes about it. But it's very good, and the way it's written is in a style that I really like for historical pieces. So this is historical nonfiction, but it's written as a narrative. So, and as I'm reading it, I'm just like, how is our lovely Kate Moore, like, just thinking of all the research she had to do, and she probably had help, hopefully, because there's a lot of research involved with this, but just all the research involved and then having to craft that into an interesting narrative is insane. And this is a long book. There's a lot of notes. There's quite a few notes, so I'm actually further along than I think I originally thought. So it's for her note. I think that's a letter at the end, maybe. Hold up. There's 403 pages, and I'm on page 323. So I'm actually almost done with the bulk of the book, but it is just so well done. It really makes you feel like you're there. I've read a couple other books like this, historical fiction books. I read one, I'm forgetting the name of it. It's called like The Castle or something, and it's about Biltmore Estate, which I live 15 minutes from the Biltmore Estate, and it's done in the same manner. It's done through like all the quotation marks, I don't know how to describe it, all the quotation marks, as in like dialogue in this book, are taken from diary entries, newspapers, like they're very legitimate, like real things these people said, but the way it's all crafted is into this narrative that tells a story. So it's just very well done, and it's a very interesting book, and I really love when historical nonfiction is written like that, because of course it reads more like a story than it does just a textbook. So anyway, that's my current read. I'm hoping to get it done soon. I've had more time to read, so I've been reading more in the mornings and reading more, just at night and things like that. So I'm hoping to finish it up and start another book soon, probably on Kindle, because I read a lot on Kindle because it's portable and because I have bad wrists from typing all day and then knitting, and so it can be a lot on my wrist to hold like physical books, especially in bed. So my next book will likely be on Kindle, but I've really been enjoying reading The Radium Girls. And another thing, I don't know if you're like me, but I love it when books like this have pictures in the center. I love it. I love it. I love books that have little pictures in the center of the key players and the people. So I'm constantly flipping back and forth between the dialogue and the pictures to put like faces to names. But anyway, yeah, so that is the extent of this month's episode. A lot of reading happening, a decent amount of knitting. I didn't have a lot of projects to show for it, but we have a lot of progress on projects, so that's a plus. and hopefully more to come in the new year. I hope everyone has a really happy, warm holiday season. This is my favorite time of the year. I look forward to it starting in January. So I'm definitely I'm just very happy right now. I'm very like giddy and well rested in terms of finishing up the semester and things like that. So I hope everyone has a happy holiday season. I will be talking to you in the new year in 2023. So have a wonderful day.